Caitlin Clark being embraced by Diana Taurasi after the Fever beat the Mercury in that game and they played each other was one of the coolest moments of the WNBA season.
Well, I cannot believe we are fixing to have a talk about this particular player in the WNBA because I thought she was supposed to be gone.
Look, SVP, reality is coming.
Okay.
There's levels to this thing, and that's just life. We all went through it.
Remember when Diana Taurasi looked Caitlin Clark in the eyes and said, "Reality is coming"? Those words echoed through the basketball world as the veteran tried to put the rookie in her place. Everyone thought Clark was about to get humbled, but boy, were they wrong. Not only did Clark survive in the WNBA, she completely flipped the script, breaking Taurasi's own three-point record and leading the entire league in assists as a rookie. That's not just beating expectations, that's destroying them. And now, Diana's final words about Clark before retirement tell a completely different story. Remember when Diana Taurasi looked dead in the camera and basically told Caitlin Clark she wasn't ready for the WNBA?
You look superhuman playing against 18-year-olds, but you're going to come with some grown women that have been playing professional basketball for a long time. But there is going to be a transition period where you're going to have to give yourself some grace as a rookie. And, it might take a little bit longer for some people.
Go against another team here. They've been chomping at the bit. It's Taurasi. What a spin. Taurasi a finish. Man. A 20-year veteran, Diana Taurasi, dialing back. Physically demanding.
No, it is extremely difficult. Just not only physically, but also mentally staying in it.
Reality is coming, okay? There's levels to this thing. Those words sent shockwaves through women's basketball. It wasn't just trash talk. It was the GOAT of women's basketball putting the college superstar in her place before she even stepped on a professional court. Let's be real, Taurasi wasn't making some casual comment about Clark's transition. She was speaking for an entire generation of WNBA veterans who had paid their dues and weren't about to roll out the red carpet for a rookie, no matter how many highlights she had in college. When Taurasi mentioned that transition period and told Clark to give yourself some grace as a rookie, she wasn't offering friendly advice. She was setting expectations. Low ones? The basketball world exploded overnight.
And when she said the reality is coming thing, that kind of became the mantra to Clark's rookie season. Why did that matter? Because she made the whole reality is coming comments, and she was also and is also maybe the biggest figure in the history of the sport, certainly in that conversation, right?
So in your career, you got to match up against other Nike hoopers. Do you have a favorite matchup?
You're gonna get me in trouble. Honestly, I'll just say DT because she's such an icon in our sport and has been in the game.
Twitter, Instagram, sports shows, everyone picked a side. Half the fans were nodding along with Taurasi, thinking the college phenom was about to get a serious wake-up call in the pros. The other half saw something else entirely. A legendary player who might be feeling a little threatened by the new kid about to take over the spotlight. But here's where the story gets crazy. Clark could have fired back. She could have pointed to her college records or talked about how she was ready to dominate. Instead, she showed maturity way beyond her 22 years. When asked about Taurasi's comments, Clark took the high road, speaking about how Diana was someone she grew up idolizing and looking up to.
Hey, Caitlin Clark has made some remarks about Diana Taurasi, and it seems the one player she had the most fun taking to the woodshed, and who could blame her after there's going to be a reality check.
For so long, getting to share the court with her was pretty fun, and you just see her competitive spirit, even though you're not on her team, you can just feel it as a competitor.
Heck, yeah, you're right. You got swept by the rookie, destroyed, obliterated. Caitlin Clark made some comments, and she has come out and said, basically, crushing Diana Taurasi was her favorite part of last year.
Even the harshest critics to respect that response. No trash talk, no drama, just respect for a legend while quietly preparing to prove herself on the court. Their first matchup became the most anticipated game of the season. Everyone wanted to see this showdown. Would the rookie crumble under the pressure of facing the player who had basically predicted her struggle? Or would Clark silence all the doubters? The tension was electric. What happened next wasn't just surprising. It completely flipped the script on the entire narrative. Clark didn't just survive against Taurasi's Mercury. she thrived. The Indiana Fever, a team that had been basically irrelevant for years, didn't just win once against Phoenix. They completed a 3-game sweep of the Mercury in the regular season. The rookie who wasn't supposed to be ready was suddenly looking like a veteran.
As we've seen, but in that moment, it did feel like, all right, you know, you've made it, you've earned it, right? Like, you've shown it. There's no fronting on your game. No one has more gravitas in the space than Taurasi. But when Taurasi sort of, you know, deaded all that and embraced Clark, it felt like the moment a lot of the tensions would break down. Of course, that wasn't completely the case.
Physically demanding.
No, it is extremely difficult. Just one, not only physically, but also mentally staying in it.
This wasn't just any rookie season. Clark put up numbers that had veterans shaking their heads in disbelief. 19.2 points per game, dishing out 8.4 assists, and grabbing 5.7 rebounds. Those aren't just good for a rookie stats. Clark wasn't just leading rookies in scoring, she was leading the entire league in assists and three-pointers made. Let that sink in for a second. And then came the moment that felt like it was written for a movie script. Clark broke Taurasi's own three-point record, hitting her 122nd three-pointer of the season. The very player who had essentially warned Clark that she might not be ready was now watching her own records fall to the rookie. The Indiana Fever had been basketball purgatory before Clark arrived. They hadn't sniffed the playoffs since 2016. Most fans couldn't even name 3 players on their roster. But suddenly, with Clark running the show, they were relevant again. She didn't just improve them, she completely revitalized a franchise that had been forgotten. So what did Diana Taurasi actually mean when she warned Clark that reality is coming? The reality turned out to be something completely different than what she predicted. The reality was that Clark wasn't just ready for the WNBA, she was ready to transform it. She wasn't just good enough to play with the veterans, she was good enough to outplay them. And then the cameras caught the perfect moment that symbolized this entire story. After one of their games, Taurasi put her arm around Clark. That wasn't just good sportsmanship after a tough game. That was the visual representation of the old guard acknowledging the new generation. That was respect earned, not given. It's not just Diana Taurasi who's noticed what Caitlin Clark is bringing to the game. The entire WNBA has been watching this rookie phenomenon transform the league. Veterans across the board are giving their flowers to Clark. Sophie Cunningham straight up admitted, "I think it's fun what she's doing." Even the legendary Sue Bird predicted that Clark is going to break records non-stop for the next couple years. This isn't just about one player impressing another. This is about an entire generation of WNBA stars recognizing that Clark isn't just living up to the hype, she's exceeding it. The excitement around women's basketball has exploded to levels nobody could have imagined. Attendance records shattered, TV ratings through the roof, and it's only her rookie season. When Diana Taurasi walks away from the game, she's not leaving it behind. She's passing it forward to someone who's already taking it to new heights. The WNBA isn't just surviving. With Caitlin Clark leading the charge, it's absolutely thriving.